Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Experience Matters, and once again, with our second guest of honor, Mr. Akash Kumar Ball, joining us directly from IIT Bombay. He has been an exemplary student in his bachelor's, and it's a pleasure to have Akash on the show. He's currently pursuing his second year masters from IIT Bombay, and it's been an honor to host you. Akash, how you are doing?
Yeah, hi Shomojit. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I'm doing fine. How about you?
Great, great. I'm doing great, Akash. So a lot of students, since we discussed about higher studies in our first episode of Experience Matters, a lot of students were talking about this opportunities of masters in India, and for what better than one of the exemplary institutes, example setting institute like IIT Bombay, and a student from the second year of masters, who better to talk to other than you? So I thought to bring you on board. So I wanted to ask you about a generalistic overview of the masters in IIT Bombay. How is it going? Like, what is the current scenario of masters in IIT Bombay recently?
IIT Bombay is one of the best places in India to pursue a master's degree in engineering. Because for students who are looking for jobs or who want to go for higher studies after completion of their masters, IIT Bombay offers both the doors. So in terms of that, I will say that also it is one of the best institutes in India in engineering. So yeah, it's like a dream place for any bachelor students in any tier 2 or 3 colleges to pursue masters.
Great, great, great. So that is a general overview. So the masters in IIT Bombay is indeed a dream, as you said. So I would like to ask a follow-up question on that. What is the scope of research that is there? Because many people have been asking that when you go to
Yeah.
masters, you tend to be more focused into research kind of things rather than your bachelor's, which is more of a generalistic degree. You want to be more specific on your research stuff. So how is the research doing in masters at IIT Bombay?
Yeah, so as you rightly said, so in masters in IIT Bombay, it's more about research than coursework. So and also if you see the course structure, more weightage, the credit for research is a lot higher compared to general courses. And also, as a master student, you can explore a lot of wide areas of chemical engineering. So to say, maybe molecular simulation, catalysis, energy sustainability, process control, all these wide areas of engineering you can explore. And if you work sincerely, there is a great scope of publishing papers as well for master students who are looking for going into PhD in maybe highly reputed institutions all over the world. There is always a great scope of publishing maybe 1 or 2 research papers. So overall, it's a great place to be here for a master students to pursue MTech.
Great, great, great. So the scope of research is quite good, as you correctly mentioned. And since you talked about this course structure, one thing that comes to the mind of the students, most prolifically, that they're studying BTech, and these are fresh graduates out of BE and BTech, and they are wondering how master's course structure is going to be different from the BTech course structure, and how is the pedagogy or the faculty structure as a whole at IIT Bombay. So if you can give a brief insight on that, Akash, it would be great.
Yeah. So as I already said that here in IIT Bombay, the more focus is on research compared to the coursework. So I'll give you the semester-wise structure. So in the first semester, you will have 4 to 5, depending upon the situation, 4 to 5 credit courses that are compulsory. And in then there is a scope of doing 3 electives, 3 departmental electives from second semester onwards, and 1 institute elective. So altogether 5 course credits, credit courses, and 4 electives you have to do. Apart from that, there are seminar that is based on literature survey you do in your master's thesis, and the rest is majority of the time you will be investing in the third semester and fourth semester is on your thesis. So if I talk you about the credit structure, almost 90 credit is allotted to your thesis, and the rest 60 credit is allotted to your coursework. So yeah, so it's quite evident that more focus is on research compared to the coursework.
Great, great, great. So more focus is on the research, and the faculty is definitely promoting more of the research culture there, and there is no doubt about the pedagogy that is there in place. So I would like to know about your preparation in the gate to secure a position for IIT Bombay. What should be the general, because this fresh breed graduates will come out and will try to secure a good rank in gate and try to get into IIT Bombay. I want you to enlighten what kind of preparation or how many hours, because this is a typical cliche question, that how
Yeah.
many hours do we need to sit with the subjects, or how clear do we need to be? What should be our rank probably? For the structured way of doing the research. What is the approach that we can take in gate that you think would be the most eligible one pertaining to the selection at IIT Bombay? You can say in terms of chemical engineering only.
Yeah. So I always believe that one mistake students often do is that when they are in first semester, first year or second year of their undergraduate, they start thinking about preparing for GATE, which is actually a mistake. GATE preparation comes a lot later, maybe when you're in third semester or third year or fourth year of your BTech. So why I say that is, it's most important to conceptually learn all the fundamentals of chemical engineering subjects like fluid mechanics or reaction engineering, heat transfer, mass transfer. It's important to grasp all those fundamental concepts. So that is the primary thing that you should do. So instead of focusing on GATE, you should be in the first semester, first year or second year, or also maybe in the third year, you should focus on securing good grades. So that will help you to build your fundamentals. And then when you come maybe at the end of your third year, or at the end of fourth year, then you start thinking about GATE. And talking from my perspective is that preparation for GATE, it's best if you do the self study, it's the best possible way to prepare for GATE. And because it's not a very difficult examination to crack compared to maybe JEE advanced. So all you need to do is find any test series available in the market, any test series, and just stick to it, and try to solve as many as mock as possible. Also, one more thing that is very important is to solving the previous maybe 20-year past 20-year GATE questions. So you'll get a feel how type of questions usually appear in GATE. So that's it. And I'll say that in the and also try to read textbooks that are very important. People don't usually avoid all the textbooks. So for fluid mechanics, for transport phenomena, all these are textbooks like Bart-Stuart Lightfoot, Fogler, Incropera. You go through the books that will help you to build concepts. And finally, before maybe the 1 month of GATE, what you do is you just practice and practice. You do timed practice, not only practice, but timed practice is most important. And try to improve your accuracy. Don't try to solve all the questions. In GATE, there will be some questions which are difficult, and try to recognize those type of questions and try to avoid them. So your objective should be improve your accuracy as much as possible.
Great,
So,
great insights, The accuracy is the key here, as you have correctly mentioned. Akash, I would like to know that there has been a lot of talks. After you give GATE, you also try for GRE and other examinations, and you see that people generally are confused that how are going to be the research opportunities in India as compared to the research opportunities outside, particularly pertaining to masters in Europe or USA. So, what is your take on this? Are the research facilities skewed towards one side, or it's more or less all the same if someone does it from a premier institute in India?
yeah, so there is no straightforward answer. The answer of these questions depends upon the circumstance, I will say. So for example, people generally go to abroad for pursuing masters is because they want to get job there and they want to settle there. That is the primary reason for doing masters in abroad. But the thing is that masters in abroad, they are mostly non-funded, so you have to spend penny from your own pocket, and that is very costly. So for maybe a middle class student, he won't be able to afford that, and maybe he can, but he will be subjected to a huge amount of educational loan. So that is there, but someone can afford it, they can obviously explore that route. But if you say about the research facility in abroad and in maybe in top Indian institutes like IIT Bombay, IISc, these institutes, So yeah, I mean, we have world-class research facilities here also in IIT Bombay. So it's not like that, to pursue quality research, you have to go to abroad. One thing, one misconception is that, people will say maybe IIT Bombay has maybe, lower ranking. So maybe like according to QS World Ranking or maybe Times Higher Education Ranking, whatever you choose. So they will say, yeah, IIT Bombay, little bit behind in ranking. But the thing is that, those kind of rankings are based on many different parameters. And one such parameter is, number of international students. And IITs don't have that. So in that, that's why the overall ranking of these institutes get lowered. But in terms of research, it's quality research. For example, I'll give you one example. So ISC has the highest citation per faculty in the world. So that that itself talks about the quality of research Indian institutions are providing. So yeah, it's a misconception. If you are getting into maybe top 20-30 colleges in then it's fine, then you can obviously go, given that you can also afford. But otherwise, I'll say that getting a MTech degree from IIT helps you both academically to pursue a PhD later on, or maybe to get into an industrial setup. So yeah.
Understood. Akash, what is the domains to be explored after masters? Because people generally tend to go multiple ways, maybe a PhD outside or a PhD in India or jobs. So what is the domain that's been most interesting since you've observed the students of your batch or the previous batches or the upcoming batches? What is the mentality of the generalistic students in general? What is the section that they're focusing more on?
Yeah. So I mean, in IIT Bombay is one of the institutes which provide most of the jobs, also to its master students, right? You won't see most of the other IITs doing that kind of a job. So people here, they usually come for that aspiration only. So they want to get in a high paying job after they graduate, from IIT Bombay. So people, yeah, there are like in terms of job, there are many sectors that people go to. So there are like a core jobs and there are non-core jobs. Both are there. There are startups and everything. And also there are people who want to go for PhD, maybe in abroad or after pursuing masters. Also, some people what they do is they convert their masters into PhD in IIT Bombay itself. And also if you maintain a very good CPI and you do good quality of research, there is a high chance you will get like prestigious scholarships like Prime Minister Research Fellowship, and those are highly prestigious scholarships. So whatever you do, I mean, be it like you want to go into a job or you want to stick to academia, even in abroad or even in India. So there is a huge scope for MTech students in IIT Bombay.
Great. That's why it is such an institute that is so very well esteemed and so very well perceived in the nation. One question that I would like to ask is, which sectors, as you have currently mentioned that there is some startups, some entrepreneurial ventures, there are some R&D facilities, jobs that are there. Which sector of jobs do these master students mostly go into or end up with?
Yeah. So okay, so given these year statistics in all, I mean, it's not complete the placement season. Until now, the phase 1 placement season is complete, and phase 2 will begin in the month of January. The 50% of the job is for from core companies, and 50% is from non-core companies. So almost 50-50 divide is there. In non-core companies, there are diverse profiles such as like data scientist, data analyst. Then there is business analyst, this kind of roles. AI/ML engineer, this kind of roles people have gotten into. And in core, there are also profiles like management training and some R&D facilities, R&D positions is also available after you do your MTech from here.
Great. So there are a lot of facilities to explore. Now I would like to end up, Akash, with that one last question. You have always been a guy who has been looked upon by all the people, and you have chosen research as one of the things over the jobs. That's what I have known after interacting with you. So any particular reason for this choice of research over jobs for the further studies?
To be honest, it's quite personal. So like I always had since the childhood, I always had the knack of doing some quality research. So even if in my undergraduate, I started doing research very early. I mean, in my undergraduate, I started doing research in the second year itself after I mean finished my first year. So what I personally, I mean, what I feel is that like in our particularly in our discipline, there is a lack of R&D jobs in India, to be honest, and particularly that aspect excites me the most. Also, after you do PhD, you have also have the option for go for teaching or professorship. So you may also want to go for scientist position. So I actually want to explore this kind of research positions. Apart from going like maybe in any company doing some maybe management training position and all. So that is why I've always have a knack towards this doing pursuing higher studies, so that I can like maybe get into a very good R&D position in one of the top companies, or maybe secure a faculty position at one of the universities. So that is the advantage of going for a doctoral degree.
Great, Akash. It was absolutely a pleasure to talk to you. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors. As you have chosen, and maybe someday you will reach great heights, and I'm pretty sure about that. So thank you very much for your insights on these topics that I have asked you. Any last minute tips or suggestions to this fresh B graduates, coming out of their B degree and trying to explore more around the corner?
Yeah. So what I would suggest to, I mean, any undergraduate students is that being sincere in the academics is the most important thing. People usually say is that CPI doesn't matter, and all these things like we can just go for jobs and everything. We'll eventually get jobs. But actually, in reality, the thing is that CPI matters to a great extent. Like if you have a good CPI, starting beginning from your undergraduate, what will happen is that you have the freedom to go for either academia. You may go for MS or MTech or PhD in great institutes. Also you have the opportunity to get into very good jobs, high paying jobs. So people usually often tend to take CPI very lightly. I have seen in my undergraduate, and that is a general perception that it doesn't matter. So I will suggest my fellow juniors and that be sincere in academics, and that will help you in the long run.
Great, Akash. It was absolutely a pleasure talking to you. So thank you for once again for the insights, and we will be
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you.
Yes, pleasure is all ours, Akash, to host you. So yes, so we have come to the end of this session. It was a nice experience to talk to our guest of honor, Mr. Akash Ball, joining from IIT Bombay. And we will be bringing in more episodes of Experience Matters with the industry experts and the other experts from other fields. Just keep an eye. And that's it for today. We will take a leave now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shomujit. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Akash.